What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into TTP Sports. And so the Phillies, they've now lost 2 in a row after their 7-game winning streak. They lose tonight to the Cincinnati Reds by a score of 7-4 after dropping yesterday's game by a score of 7-1, I believe. And, it's just, this game was not pretty. This game was not pretty at all. And I have a lot of issues with this game. And in my personal opinion, I think Rob Thomson was a big factor into this loss. I thought he made a lot of poor decisions in this game. I thought he made a ton of poor decisions. First of all, I don't think Spencer Turnbull should have gone only 5 innings. I think you could have given him the benefit of the doubt to go 6. I personally don't care that you're trying to limit his innings. I can understand why you're trying to limit his innings because, the whole injury risk and all that crap. But he's proven more times than not so far to start the season. He's been very reliable for you. And he only had 89 pitches. Going the 6th inning wouldn't have killed him, in my personal opinion. Even though he did have some few walks in this game, he was limiting the Reds, he was striking them out, and he was being efficient. And that's what you need from a guy like Spencer Turnbull. He was very efficient tonight. He put you in a position to win the ball game. But then, you don't bring him out for the 6th inning. You bring in Seranthony Dominguez, a guy who has not been efficient in over a year at this point. Seranthony Dominguez has not been the same pitcher since 2022. Has not been. He hasn't been that same shutdown guy who was very huge for you in that World Series run in 2022. I'm going to keep bringing that up. 2022. Because Seranthony Dominguez last year was not good. He looks like a guy that is out there that doesn't trust his stuff. He looks like a guy that doesn't trust his stuff. And that's the disturbing thing. And for Rob Thomson just to let him out there and let him stay out there the entire time, it's asinine. You can tell right from the get-go, right from the very first pitch, he doesn't have his stuff again. When was one time this season you can say Seranthony Dominguez looked good? I cannot count that basically right now. I could probably count it on my fingers how many times he's been good, and it's probably been 0. It's probably been 0. No finger on this fist is probably going up and making a number. I don't think any of my fingers are doing that right now. That's how bad Seranthony Dominguez has been this year. And the fact that you don't have the pitcher up behind him, the fact that he allows a leadoff walk, yeah, he got a huge out, he got a pop up, he got a huge strikeout. But then he falls behind guys. He can't throw pitches in the strike zone. He can't locate with his slider. He can't locate with his fastball. And when he does locate with his fastball, it's right over the middle of the plate. When it's in the strike zone, I mean. That just can't happen. And you let him in there. You just kept him in there as, 2 outs, 2 runners on. You're still leading 3-1. And then you let him in there. Okay, righty-righty matchup. He gets 2 strikes ahead in the count. Then he leaves a fastball right over the middle of the plate, and it's just a bleeder in the right field, which scores 2 runs. And then, yeah, you brought in Matt Strahm. He got unlucky with a bloop. But the fact of the matter is, you kept Seranthony Dominguez in there too long. Seranthony Dominguez wasn't the guy to go to. That's also one of my other issues. Not letting Turnbull go into the 6th, and then putting Seranthony out there right away. I understand Rob has this philosophy of trusting his guys. Sometimes you just can't. Sometimes you got to recognize when a guy just doesn't have it. Sometimes you got to recognize, okay, I got to get this guy out of here. He clearly doesn't have it. And Rob has done that a couple of times this year. He's done it a couple of times. And yes, it's worked for this team. It's worked for this team for the past couple of seasons with the philosophy that Rob uses, believing in his guys. But you need to realize that situational awareness, sometimes you got to overmanage in that situation. Sometimes you gotta. Or sometimes you don't even have to manage enough at all. Just leave your starter out there, put him in the 6th inning, and then you go into the 7th inning with your back end of the bullpen people, where you don't have to force Seranthony into that mess. Even though it's a 6th inning situation, it's a 2-run lead. Any pitcher that's capable should be able to get out of that, right? No, not Seranthony Dominguez, because he clearly just isn't capable. He is not the same pitcher anymore. He just isn't. He doesn't have the same stuff. He just doesn't look confident at all in anything. And I don't know how you fix that. I don't know if there is fixing it. I understand that, a couple of seasons ago when Alvarado was dealing with this stuff, they sent him down to AAA. They worked on a few things, and then once they called him right up, he was a completely different pitcher. Do you try doing that with Seranthony Dominguez, and maybe you can work the same type of magic that you did with Alvarado? I don't know what they do. Rob clearly likes going to Seranthony. He wants to try to give this guy confidence. It's not going to work like that. It just isn't. You throw him into it's not even a tough situation, but you throw him into a 2-run lead in a 6th inning, and this dude clearly has no confidence in the world. You knew from the instance that something bad was going to happen. As soon as one bad thing happened, another bad thing was going to happen. That's the way Seranthony has been this entire season for basically over a year at this point. That's what Seranthony has been. And I don't know why Rob hasn't realized that. Why go to Seranthony in that situation? Why just let Turnbull go in the 6th? Why not let him go in the 6th? And then you bring Strom out for a clean situation. It just doesn't make sense in my opinion. It's asinine. And then there's also more things that I didn't like from Rob in this game, and that was the top of the 6th inning. The top of the 6th inning was not good because you get the first 2 batters on, 1st and 3rd, no outs. And of course, with the lineup today, this has been the lineup for the past 2 games because for some reason, Rob just does not trust Bryson, Stott, and Brandon Marsh against left-handed pitching. It just doesn't make sense. Yesterday and today, I understand that Nick Lodolo, who was the starter for the Reds in this situation, has very good splits against left-handed pitching. I don't care. Put your best lineup out there because your bottom half of the lineup is what cost you this game as well. Because you were not getting the situational hitting that you were a couple of days ago when you actually had a proper lineup in there minus Bryce Harper. Hell, Cody Clemens was doing more than some of the guys that were in the lineup tonight. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. When you have Pache on in that 6th inning, batting, 1st and 3rd, nobody out. That is a clear fucking situation, pinch hit, bring in someone that can bat. Because the Reds, they took Lodolo out, they brought in a right-handed pitcher, and obviously with the 3-batter minimum rule in Major League Baseball, Rob, this has been a rule for a couple of seasons now, more than a couple of seasons, and you could have brought in a left-handed batter to face the right-handed bat pitcher that the Reds brought out. Rob, just bring you a wise advice here. You could have brought in a lefty to bat against the righty because the Reds couldn't bring him out due to your pinch hitter because of the 3-batter minimum. Do you understand what I'm saying here, Rob? You could have brought out Brandon Marsh. You could have brought out Bryson, Stott. Guys that have the ability to put the ball in play. Yes, Johan Rojas got a single right after Christian Pache did. But imagine if Marsh got a single. Imagine if Stott got a single, or hell, just even a sac fly or something like that. It works more to your benefit. It extends the inning. It puts you more in a better position to win the ball game. Marsh puts the ball in play, run or 2 scores. Then Rojas put the ball in play, another run scores. Instead of 1 run that inning, you get 2 runs in that inning. You see what I'm doing here? You see what I'm trying to do here? And then maybe it brings Turnbull out for the 6th. Even though you should have did that to begin with. You should have did that to begin with. But then all this comes back to your lineup decisions. Your lineup decisions. I understand that Nick Lodolo is really good against lefties. But why 2 days in a row are you sitting Stott and Marsh when those guys have proven they can hit lefties? Proven. Many times that they can hit lefties. It just can't keep happening. And then Soto comes in. Sosa can't make the play when it's a simple ground ball to third base. He overthrows it a little bit, pulls Bohm off the base, and then Soto unravels from there. Alvarado allows a run, but then, hey, you have a situation to come back into the ball game, and then once again, you don't pinch hit Sosa at all. I don't care that Sosa had 2 hits in the ball game. You have runners in scoring position. Are you really going to go down swinging with Edmundo Sosa in that situation, Rob? Why not bring in Bryson Stott? Why not bring in Bryson Stott? Hell, the fucking broadcast said earlier in the game that you mentioned yourself that would you pinch hit for someone in these situations, whether it's Sosa, whether it's Pache or something like that. And he said, I'd maybe bring in Stott for Sosa. That's probably it. Why didn't you bring in Stott for Sosa there? Why didn't you bring in Stott for Sosa there? It's ridiculous at this point. It really is. Because what was that? The seventh inning, the eighth inning, when you had that chance with Sosa? I believe so. So if I go to the top of the seventh, yeah, you had Sosa striking out with one out, and you had a couple of guys on base because Trey Turner led off with a single. Bohm then singled, which Bohm was fantastic today. Bohm's honestly been fantastic this entire series. He's literally the lone source of offense so far for this Phillies squad in this series. I understand they scored 7 runs on Monday, but these past 2 games, Bohm has been the lone source of offense. It's ridiculous. That's not an knock on Bohm because Bohm's been fantastic. So Turner led off with a single, Bohm led off with a single, and then Nick Castellanos, of course, credited with Filler's choice because he's useless. So it's first and third, 1 out for Edmundo Sosa. Yeah, he worked the full count. Yeah, he worked back into the count. Then he misses the biggest meatball fucking splitter I've seen in my life. Hangs right over the fucking middle of the plate. He is so out in front of it. He just gets so confused. Why are you putting Sosa into that situation? Why are you living and dying by Edmundo Sosa there? Why are you living and dying by Christian Pache in the top of the 6th inning, Rob? This is the same goddamn issue that I've had going back to the fucking NLCS Game 7. Don't you understand why people are probably more pissed off? Because this is the same fucking mistakes that you did in Game 7 of the World Series in your own goddamn ballpark. A series that you should have won, by the way, and you lived and died by Johan Rojas with the bases loaded, which would have been probably the difference in you probably winning that game and moving on to a World Series. Don't you I understand that it's game 25 of the season? I understand that. I understand that completely. But, it's details. It's details. I understand it's April. I understand we're not in May yet. But I don't want to see my team go from a 7-game losing streak to 2 losses in a row where they're just not playing smart. When they're not playing smart baseball. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see my team 7-game winning streak. Granted, yes, 6 of those wins were against bottom tier teams in the league. I don't want to come out of that and then lose 2 games that you should have won, in my honest opinion, because I don't believe, even though this Reds team, they have some nice players, I don't believe this Reds team is that good as you're making them look. In my honest opinion, yeah, Ellie De La Cruz is a beast. He's a stud. But you're making this team look like world beaters, and your pitchers, the bullpen guys that came out, your defense didn't help, your bullpen guys didn't help, your lineup obviously didn't help, your bottom half of the fucking lineup. It's just ridiculous that this even is a bottom half of the lineup. And yeah, it doesn't help that you don't have Bryce Harper because he is on paternity leave. Hopefully he'll be back in the lineup tomorrow, and then, okay, you're facing a righty tomorrow, so I better fucking see Stott and Marsh tomorrow. You'll have a fucking normal lineup tomorrow. You'll have Zack Wheeler on the bump tomorrow. There's no excuse that you shouldn't salvage this series. You need to fucking split this series, because losing a series to the Cincinnati Reds, 2 series to the Cincinnati Reds, is unacceptable in my opinion. You lost to them in Citizens Bank Park, 2 of 3, the second series of the season. I'm not coming down to Cincinnati after smacking them in Game 1 and then losing the next 2. Losing the next 3. Can't happen. Can't happen. Unacceptable. No. No. Not happening. Your hitting needs to be better. And I believe your hitting will be better, because Turner's still getting on base. He's still hitting the ball. There was an ugly situation in a situation because I believe it was Alec Bohm on first base, Trey Turner on third, 2 outs for Whit Merrifield. I forget which inning this was in, but then Alec Bohm they basically tried to replicate the play that they did against the White Sox. Alec Bohm was going off to steal second base, and then Trey Turner would eventually steal home, but the catcher read it behind the plate. He read it. He faked the throw to second, and then they saw Trey Turner go off, and then he picked off Trey Turner at third. You're doing too much. You're doing too much in those instances. And that also showed probably a clear sign that you didn't trust Whit Merrifield in that situation. Like, seriously. Just look at this lineup today. Kyle Schwarber was 1 for 4. He had a situation with runners in scoring position, didn't come up. Trey Turner was 1 for 4. Alec Bohm was 4 for 4. He's been fantastic. I have no issues with Alec Bohm right now. 4 for 4, 2 RBIs, 337 batting average, 430 on base, 558 slugging. That's an OPS basically of almost 1. So he's been very good. Nick Castellanos is a fucking pylon at this point. He cannot do anything right. Cannot do anything right. 0 for 5. Whit Merrifield, okay. He was 2 for 4. He had an RBI in there, but still, I'm not living and dying by Whit Merrifield. I don't care that Sosa was 2 for 4. I'm not living and dying by Edmundo Sosa with runners in scoring position. Pache 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Marsh, yes, he came in the pinch hit eventually after the Edmundo Sosa at bat, drove it to the warning track. I'm still living and dying by Brandon Marsh in that situation because I feel like more times than not, he'll come up for you. Johan Rojas, 1 for 4. And then he made a couple of mistakes in the outfield too today. He did that. He did make a couple of mistakes in the outfield. He did have an RBI in this game, but he also made a couple of mistakes in the outfield. There was also a situation where he almost made a fantastic grab, only plays that he can make, and sadly, he was just yay short of it. It just went off the tip of his glove for making an amazing diving catch. But also, he made a mistake where he booted a ground ball in center field, which allowed some runners to advance, and that just can't happen. Garrett Stubbs, he went 0 for 4 today, so you put Garrett Stubbs in, a lefty, and you don't put Stott and Marsh in. Okay, I can understand Garrett Stubbs because he has been the main catcher for Spencer Turnbull this year, all but one start. But still, it just, you choose to put in a lefty and Stubbs in, but you don't want to put Marsh and Stott in after you didn't play them yesterday. It just doesn't make sense in my opinion. It just does not. It just does not. Does not. 4 for 16 with runners in scoring position. Sosa had 2 chances. Rojas had 2. These are the guys that you're relying with. Sosa 2 chances. Rojas 2 chances. Merrifield 2 chances. Stubbs had 3 chances with runners in scoring position. Castellanos had 3 chances with runners in scoring position. And Pache had 1. The other batters, Marsh in his lone pinch hit opportunities. Schwarber went 0 for 1. And Bohm went 1 for 1. Merrifield also went 1 for 2. But still, you're relying on Sosa, Rojas, Merrifield, Stubbs, and Pache. No, I'm not living and dying by that. I'm just not. With the multiple chances that these guys are getting tonight, I'm not living by that. And Rob failed to recognize that. It started with Pache not pinch hitting for him in the top of the 6th and not pinch hitting for Edmundo Sosa there. I believe, what was that, in the 7th? Yes, in the 7th. And then also putting Seranthony Dominguez in a fucking, the situation doesn't matter at this point. You can't put Seranthony in any situation at this point. And I saw someone point out the other day, I believe it was in the 7-0 win on Monday, where you put in Orion Kirkering in a mop-up situation. Why can't that just be Seranthony's role at this point? Because he doesn't deserve anything else at this point, because he's not pitching good enough. Why not bring in Kirkering for that spot? So it just doesn't make sense. Why not just bring Strom out for a clean inning? Why did it have to be Seranthony? Rob should recognize at this point that Seranthony just doesn't have it. But no, he wants to have faith in his guys. He wants his guys to find some confidence. It's every time you go to Seranthony, it's a goddamn fucking train wreck. It's a goddamn circus because he does not know how to throw strikes. Oh my God. I want to put blame on the offense today. The offense does deserve blame today, but you're putting guys in positions that they don't deserve to be. You're relying on Pache. You're relying on Rojas, Sosa, all these times. Stubbs. All these guys with these chances. Stubbs at 3. And you're not going to rely on Garrett Stubbs to knock in runs. That just isn't what he is. Pache isn't that guy. Yeah, Rojas got an RBI today, but he's not going to do that consistently for you. This is on Rob. Not putting guys in positions to succeed, not bringing in pinch hitters when he should have. If his excuse is that he wanted to keep Pache's defense in there, Marsh has an equally as good glove out there in left field. Marsh can hold his own. There's no excuse to not pinch hit for Pache there. No excuse. And then you put Stott in the ball game. It just makes sense. You just got to do it. It's unacceptable. It's really unacceptable. It just is. My God. Like, I feel like in my deep down, I'm saying to myself that I can't be this. I am pissed. Because you just can't. Turnbull should have gone 6 innings, and yes, your offense needed to produce. But you're relying on guys like Rojas. I know Rojas has been better, but I'm not trying to fully single him out. But you'll understand the full picture of what I'm trying to say here. You're relying on Merrifield consistently. You're relying on Sosa here. You're relying on Pache here and Rojas. It's just all of that put together. You're not going to succeed. You're not going to succeed. Schwarber, Turner, Bohm, these guys can get on base as much as they want. These guys aren't getting driven in consistently with these people behind them in the lineup. Even with fucking Castellanos at this point. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. It can't. Like an Alec Bohm performance wasted. Spencer Turnbull wasted. It just is what it is at this point. You better fucking win tomorrow. You better fucking salvage this series tomorrow because, if you lose this series tomorrow, I'm going to be livid. And especially that's also leading up the fucking Sixers-Knicks Game 3 and the NFL Draft. So, Phillies, you better make my afternoon worthwhile. You better make my fucking afternoon worthwhile tomorrow. You better win the fucking series. I'll still be mad after these 2 games. Like yesterday, I'll throw it to, the 7-game winning streak had to end at some point, but of course you had to lose it in Phillies fashion. Tonight, no, unacceptable. Tonight, unacceptable. You cannot lose like that. You cannot lose like that. It's just unacceptable. I don't care how good Ellie De La Cruz is. Their lineup is not that good. Their team is not that good for you to make them look like this. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. I don't care if the records are similar. I don't care. You are a better team than the Reds. There is no excuse to lose a 4-game series to them after you dominated them in Game 1. There just isn't. There just isn't. Just isn't. And like I said yesterday, I'll throw it to, the winning streak had to end. Like I said, tonight is unacceptable. You just cannot lose this series. Can't. Because then we got to deal with Phillies after dark this weekend and the following week on the West Coast. And with this mood that I'm in right now, I don't want to feel like that watching Phillies baseball on the West Coast. Staying up until 1 in the fucking morning watching it. I'll be honest with you there, I don't. Holy fucking shit. Holy shit. Looking at the pitching, Spencer Turnbull, 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts, and on 89 pitches. His ERA is down to 133 on the year. He should have went 6 innings. He had 89 pitches. Should have went 6 innings, in my honest opinion. Seranthony Dominguez is just brutal. Brutal. 32 pitches to get 2 outs. 32 pitches. 2 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 1 strikeout on 32 pitches. Yeah, Strom came in, allowed the inherited runs to score. Charged to Seranthony. You put Seranthony Dominguez in. Bad shit's going to happen at this point. Soto. Yeah, Sosa made the 1 error, which should have been an error, but of course they weren't going to call it an error because MLB score checking is terrible when it comes to errors and what's determined an error, what's determined a base hit. It's just so bad. He allows 2 hits, 1 earned run, 2 strikeouts on 27 pitches. And then Jose Alvarado basically allowed a sac fly because Ellie De La Cruz just ran around the base paths. Very worried. They were very concerned about the base runners today. They were very concerned. Overly concerned, in my honest opinion. Okay, let them steal bases. Get the fucking guy out. That's what you gotta do. That's what you gotta do. Ridiculous, man. And yeah, going back to Nick Lodolo with the lineup today. Yeah, I understand his career. He's played in so far in 21 games against left-handed pitching. He hasn't faced that many lefties in his career. 84 plate appearances against lefties. 147 average, 230 on base, 227 slugging, 465 OPS. I understand he has done some really nasty stuff to left-handed pitching. But, yeah, it just can't be. No. It just put Stott and Marsh into the lineup. Don't sit those guys 2 days in a row. Not 2 days in a row. It's unacceptable. And then you don't even pinch it. You don't even bring in Stott into the ball game to pinch it for Sosa. Yeah, you brought in Marsh eventually, but still not good enough, in my opinion. Just isn't. Man. Trying to see if there's anything on Twitter here. Just for video purposes. I don't think there is. Don't think there's anything here from Rob. if I'm not mistaken. Don't think there is. I don't think there is. Here we go. This is from Ryan Lawrence on Twitter right here. What is it? He's an official member of the Baseball Writers Association. He's also a Phillies beat writer from 2008 to 2017. Nick Castellanos has a 428 OPS, and that ranks 181st out of 183 qualified major league hitters this year. Garbage. Absolute garbage. What else? What else? Just utter garbage there from Nick Castellanos, and he continues to be utter garbage. Don't think there is anything else here in terms of what Rob Thomson stated. Yeah, not sure. Not sure. Yeah, there's nothing there in terms of Rob Thomson speaking out anything. So we do have a voicemail here on the Anytime Hotline. I'll get to that, and then I'll get to you guys here in the live chat before we end it off. So yeah, let's get to it. I'm frustrated. Sean, you'll have to call. I'm sure you're frustrated as well as I am. So, yeah.
Yeah, I just saw some of your posts, Amadeo, and this is one where I agree with you. I think this is a loss that's on Rob Thomson. I mean, just goofy decisions all night. Why would you not have pinch hit Brandon Marsh an inning earlier for Christian Pache? Why would Bryson Stott not come up against Cruz as opposed to Edmundo Sosa? I know Sosa had a good night up to that point, but in that situation, you need the guy that's going to put the ball in play. The one thing that would kill you is the strikeout, and that's what they got. And then starting the inning with Dominguez, inexcusable. And not having somebody up when Dominguez was floundering. Took an easy win away from Spencer Turnbull. The only damage this Reds lineup gives you is when you're walking guys and you're falling apart. And then their little speed guys get on and they run you to death. If you throw strikes and command the zone, they should shut this team out with ease the way Suarez did. Just bad managing, and Dave Dombrowski has to step back and assess this bullpen. They better hope that Kerkering's arm comes around where you can put him in high-leverage situations. Because Dominguez has sucked. Soto has sucked. I mean, just terrible. Again, tough way to screw Turnbull out of another win. And oh, by the way, I guess he'll get to help the bullpen because he'll be relegated there to make way for Taijuan Walker. Another mind-boggling move by the Phillies.
Oh, man. Don't even get me started on that, Sean. Don't even get me started on that. It does sound like Taijuan Walker is going to make his season debut this Saturday in San Diego. So, yeah, I got a lot of thoughts on that. I definitely do. It's unacceptable. I don't think Taijuan Walker has done anything to earn his spot back in the rotation. I don't care how much money he's making. I don't care that he's a veteran. I don't care. Why mess with something that's not broken? Wheeler's been really good for you. Nola's been solid. Ranger's been amazing. Christopher Sanchez, yes, he's been up and down, but I still trust Christopher Sanchez over Taijuan Walker at this point. And Spencer Turnbull has been a very pleasant surprise. He's been fantastic for you. Granted, now, is Spencer Turnbull going to keep these numbers throughout the rest of the season? I don't think so, but why mess with it now? Why not just wait until maybe Spencer Turnbull comes back down to earth and let Taijuan Walker stretch his arm out more with the bullpen? Well, let Taijuan be the long guy. Let him be the long guy out of the bullpen. I just don't. It just doesn't make sense to me. And they want to put Turnbull in the bullpen so badly. Turnbull barely has any experience coming out of the bullpen. So I just don't get I don't get the decision. I don't think this is a Rob Thomson move. I preferably think this is a Dave Dombrowski move, putting Taijuan Walker back into the rotation because you're trying to justify the signing. It's just, you got to realize when you swung and missed there on Taijuan Walker, he just isn't the same pitcher that he once used to be, which was a solid middle pitcher, middle rotation guy. Just hasn't been that with the Phillies. I understand he can eat 8 innings for you. It just isn't. He hasn't done good enough. You didn't use him at all in the postseason last year, so that also describes the type of pitcher that Taijuan Walker and how much they even have faith they have in him. So, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. No, it's also not the time to go to a 6-man rotation because Zack Wheeler despises the hell out of the 6-man rotation, and I think it's still way too early in the season to even consider that. That's something you consider going to midway through the season when you get to the dog days of summer, in my honest opinion, when the rotation guys need a break or need an extra day of rest, especially when you're going through a long stretch where you don't have days off. That's probably when you utilize the 6-man rotation at that point. He just doesn't deserve it. He just does not deserve it. I don't understand why you're force-feeding Taijuan Walker back into the rotation. I don't understand that. I just don't. And those are my 2 cents on the Taijuan Walker stuff. But you better fucking win tomorrow. Better fucking win. That's all I'm going to say. Better fucking win. Zack Wheeler on the mound. Bryce, it sounds like Bryce might be back tomorrow. Your lineup will be normal. You're facing a fucking right-handed pitcher. Win the fucking ball game, salvage the series, move on. That's all you can do at this point. Salvage the series, move on to San Diego. That's all you can do. Oh, man. Tomorrow's going to be a very fucking long day. I can already tell. Phillies in the afternoon, then the prep for the Sixers and the Eagles draft. Well, the NFL draft. It's going to be a long fucking day. I can already tell you here at this point. It's going to be a long fucking day. And it better not ruin my day. It better not ruin my day. Phillies, you better win tomorrow afternoon so we can have a good mood going into the Sixers. Better fucking win tomorrow afternoon so we can have a good mood. I don't want one of my friends coming over because one of my best buddies is coming over to watch the Sixers game, and we'll have a good night. We'll watch that game. Hopefully it'll be a good night, and hopefully I'll be in a good mood. Hopefully the Phillies don't ruin my mood going into the Sixers because, oh boy, I can already sense the Sixers making my mood even worse. That's a guarantee, in my opinion. So, guys here in the live chat, T-Man, I think the offense is the main issue of this team so far, considering our defense and bullpen have been decent throughout most games. The offense tonight, this isn't your real offense. This isn't your real lineup. This is guys that don't deserve to be in the lineup every day, and this has been the lineup for this past 2 days because of lefties and Rob's fear of just batting Marsh and Stott against lefties. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't care about Lodolo's numbers. Stott and Marsh are perfectly capable of hitting left-handed pitching. It's unacceptable in my opinion. Thompson wears the dunce cap. I do agree with that, Sean. Yep, Turnbull was screwed again. And he's also going to get screwed by being moved to the bullpen. I agree with that. Yep, got to win tomorrow. This will all be forgotten when Howie Roseman pisses off the Eagles Nation with round 1 of the draft. I wouldn't be shocked there. Also, it'll be forgotten if the Sixers lose again tomorrow. That's also another reason there, Sean. My first round prediction for the Eagles tomorrow, I'm thinking they trade for Surtain or my dark horse pick, Brock Bowers. Well, there's been a bunch of rumors lately about them possibly trading up, and the 2 rumors that I've heard, they're trading up to draft a corner or they're trading up to draft a wide receiver. So that probably means they're trading up to draft an offensive lineman. That's what I'm expecting, because that is so Eagles. Because if there's rumors and all that stuff coming about what they're going to do with the draft, it's Howie Roseman leaking out the information. They're trying to, confuse people out there. I don't know what they're going to draft. Does Howie Roseman go outside the box? I think the chances are very low. There could be a chance just because he went outside the box with Saquon Barkley, so maybe Howie's willing to try different things now. But I'm just going to go by Eagles stick to their guts. They either draft a wide receiver or they draft an offensive lineman. That's where I think they go. They draft Lane Johnson's replacement. That's where I think they go. They should draft a corner. They should draft a defensive end or something like that. But they should stick to defense. That's basically it. But we'll wait and see. I'll have the draft on the on an iPad tomorrow while me and my buddy are watching the Sixers. So hopefully something good happens there. But oh yeah. Don't fucking ruin my mood tomorrow afternoon, Phils. Better fucking win. So that's going to do it for tonight, everybody. I appreciate you all for joining. I definitely do. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does me a great deal of service. And also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Great deal. Don't pass it up. Yeah. Despised this game from Rob Thompson, the decisions. Despised it. You better not fucking lose tomorrow. You better not. Thanks, guys, for joining. I appreciate you one and all.